Hey guys, how are you? I hope that you all are very safe in your houses and are moving out only when it's very necessary. So today we will be starting the most feared subject, that is maths for class 10. Now many of you are scared of this particular subject. The simple reason you are scared is because you don't practice very well. Okay, so now we would be starting with class 10. So now we will tame this beast, and it's very important that you understand the concepts here. See, science and mathematics, these are two subjects where you should not try to memorize the questions and answers. The only memorizing things that you need to do are the formulas. Don't memorize the questions and don't memorize the answers. So now we will be starting with class 10's arithmetic progression, which is your lesson 5. So we will be starting NCERT first, and after that we would move on to different questions. We'll have a different series of MCQs since your pattern has changed. We'll have a series for them as well. So now let us start with this chapter. So lesson 5, arithmetic progressions. I'll be referring to them as AP now because it's more easier to do so and it saves time as well. So now let us try to understand what actually is arithmetic progression. See, arithmetic progression is actually a series in which each term is added with a fixed number to get the next term. So if we consider a group of numbers, a list of numbers, we see that here are 4 series. So if you could see that 1, 2 and 3 form a particular series. So each number in a particular series is known as what? A term. It is known as a term. So in arithmetic progression, each number that you come across is known as a term. Now let us understand this through these 4 series. If you look at the first series, we have 3 numbers written here, 3 terms written here, 1, 2 and 3. Then in the second, 4, 8, 12, again 3 terms. Then again we have 24, 20, 16, 12 and so on, 40, 45, 50 and 55. Now if you paid attention to this particular thing, you would see that they follow a definite pattern. You would see that the previous term, except the first term, every term is added with a fixed number to get the next term. If you look at this, if we see the second term, this is 2. And if we subtract the first term from the second term, we get 2 minus 1 is equals to 1. If we subtract the second term from the third term, what we will get? We get 3 minus 2 is equals to 1. So you can see that we have added a fixed number, that is 1, to get the next numbers in the series. Let us look at the second list. 8, that is the second term, minus first term, 4 is equals to 4. Then 12, which is the third term, minus second term is equals to 4. So here you will see we are adding 4 to the previous term to get the next term. So here we have 4, the difference of 4. Now let us look at this series. 20 minus 24, which is the second term minus the first term. Here we get minus 4. Then 16 minus 20 is equals to minus 4. Then 12 minus 16 is equals to minus 4. So here you can see that we are actually subtracting 4 from the previous number to get the next term in the series. So here we have the difference of minus 4. Now let us look at the one. 45 minus 40 is equals to 5. 50 minus 45 is equals to 5. 55 minus 50 is equals to 5. So here we are actually adding 5 to get the next term in the series. So this is what arithmetic progression is actually. To get the next term, you add a fixed number to the previous term except the first term and you get a series. So this series of different terms in which there is a fixed common difference, where the fixed difference is actually known as an arithmetic progression. So for a series to be called an arithmetic progression, the difference between all the terms should be same. Now this difference, if we see, compare it with all the 4 series, we get the difference here is common as 1, the difference here is common as 4, the difference here common is minus 4 and the difference here common is 5. So this particular difference between terms of arithmetic progression is known as common difference. You denote it with small d and is known as common difference. Now we understood that this in a particular series, this is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third term, and you can have nth number of terms. So how do we denote them in the form of an AP? Let's see this. Let us consider this AP as 5, 10, 15, 20 and 25. So this is the first term, okay? So we denote the terms of AP as A. So first term would be A1, the second term would be A2, the third term would be A3, and when it goes on till nth number, we write it as AN. Now what is the common difference? The common difference is denoted by D. Now if you have to find the common difference between these two, how do you find? You will find the current term, that is A2 minus A1 will give you 10 minus 5 is equals to 5. Now you can verify this very easily. The difference between the corresponding term, that is this term minus this term would have to be 5. This term minus this term has to be 5. So you know that the next term is found by adding a fixed number to the previous term. Therefore, the current term has to be minus with the previous term to get the common difference. So now I want all of you to take out your NCERT and we will be starting with exercise 5.1. The second question, here you need to find the 4 next terms of an AP. Here you are given with the first term and the common difference. So here they have denoted first term as A. So you can simply understand that A also stands for the first term. D is the common difference. So now let us look at how we can write these the next 4 terms. A is equals to given as 10 and D is given as 10. So A2 would be equal to A plus D, which is equals to 10 plus 10, which is equals to 20. A3 would be the previous term plus the common difference. So the previous term is 20 plus 10, which is equals to 30. A4 would be what? You are given A3, you have found out the A3, that is the previous term, 30 plus D, which is your common difference, which is equals to 30 plus 10, which is equals to 40. Now we have to find the fourth term, that is A5. So A5 would be equals to the previous term, that is 40 plus the common difference, which is 10, which is equals to 50. So you have got all the terms. So if you write down all these terms, you get A1 is equals to 10, A2 is equals to 20, A3 is equals to 30, A4 is equals to 40 and A5 is equals to 50. So you can see that the common difference is 10. Therefore this is an AP and we have successfully found out the next 4 terms of an AP. Now let us look at the second question. Here you are given A as 2 and here the common difference is 0. So what will happen is that this particular series will have A2 also as minus 2, A3 also as minus 2, A4 also as minus 2 and A5 also as minus 2. Why this will happen is simply because here you are not adding anything. You are not adding a fixed number. Although you are adding 0, but adding 0 to any number doesn't change it, right? So you will have 2, minus 2, minus 2 and minus 2. So the terms would be A1 would be minus 2, your A2 would be minus 2, A3 would be minus 2, A4 would be minus 2 and A5 would be minus 2. So this way we have successfully found out the next 4 terms of this particular arithmetic progression. So we are actually doing the NCERT exercise 5.1 question second, where we have to find the next 4 terms of the AP. Now let us have a look at the third question in this particular question. We are given A, that is the first term, as 4 and D as minus 3. So we know that if you have to find the second term, that is A2, we will be taking it A plus D. So what is? A is given as 4 plus minus 3. Now here you need to pay attention because here minus sign is there. So we know that plus minus will become minus. So the next term that we will be getting is simply 1. Now let us look at the third term. Now third term we know that we have to add the common difference. So we know the common difference is minus 3. The previous term is 1. So 1 minus 3, which is equals to minus 2. Then A4 how we will find? A3, which is the previous term, plus the common difference, which is equals to minus 2 minus 3 which is equals to minus 5. Getting it right? Now let us look at the fourth term, that is a5 which is equals to a4 plus b which is equals to minus 5 minus 3 which is equals to minus 8. So these are the four terms that you found out. So if we write them in this form, a1 already was given as 4, a2 would be equals to 1, a3 would be equal to minus 2, a4 would be equal to minus 5 and a5 would be equal to minus 8. So these are the next four terms that you have found out. Now let us have a look at the fourth question. Here the first term you are given is as minus 1 and the common difference is half, that is 1 by 2. Now when the common difference becomes fraction, here you need to be very careful with your calculation because a slight mistake can change the answer. So we have to find the next four terms, that is a2, a3, a4 and a5. So still 5 terms you have to find it out. So let us look at how we will find a2. So a2 is what? The first term plus the common difference which is equals to minus 1 plus half. So what this will become? This will become half, that is minus 1 by 2. Then a3 is equals to the previous term a2 plus b. So what is your a2? a2 is minus half plus half becomes 0. a4 is equals to a3 plus d. a3 is the previous term and you have to add the common difference, then it is 0 plus half which gives us half. Then a5 will be equal to a4 plus d because a4 is the previous term and we have to add the common difference, so we will get half plus half which is equals to 1. So this is how you find out all the four next terms of the AP. So if we write it down, we get a1 is equals to minus 1, a2 is equals to minus half, a3 is equals to 0, a4 is equals to half and a5 is equals to 1. Now you all must be wondering that the common difference is 0, the common difference is negative. Yes, the common difference can be 0, negative as well as positive. So there is nothing to be worried. You just need to take care of the signs. Now let us look at the fifth question that is given in your book under question 2. Here you have to find the next four terms. Now this particular question is tricky because here you have decimals and again with minus sign. So how we will find the four terms? We have to find a2 since a1 is given which is equals to a plus b. What is the a? A is equals to minus 1.25 plus minus 0.25. You know that plus minus will become minus, so we have to add which is equals to minus 1.50. Now let us look at the third term. Third term would be a3 which is equals to minus 1.75. Now let us look at a4, a3 plus b because a3 is your previous term. What was your previous term? We had found out as minus 1.75 plus minus 0.25. Plus minus will become minus. So what will happen? We'll add them minus 2. Then what is the a5? a4 plus b. Why a4? Because a4 is your previous term, then you have to add the common difference to get the next term. So this is how we will find a5. What was your a4? That is the previous term. It was minus 2. So minus 2 plus minus 0.25 plus minus will become minus. So we will have minus 2.25. So these are your four terms, the next four terms of this particular AP. So with this we wind up this question. Now let us have a look at the third question. So now we start with the third question that is given in your NCERT. Here you need to find the first term and the common difference. Okay, now I am not writing the complete question, you can read it in your books. I am just writing the question that we are solving and the solution. And I strongly advise you all that first, before looking at the solution, try the questions first and then look at the answers. So in this particular question you need to find the first term and the common difference. Now common difference in an AP can be easily found out and the first term can also be found out very easily. See, the first term, which is the first number that is written in the series, is the first term. So here 3 is your first term, which is denoted by A1. Now to find the common difference, you know that in AP, the difference between two corresponding terms has to be same. Therefore, you can take any term and then subtract that particular term with the previous term. But generally what we do, we take the second term and subtract the first term from it to get the common difference. So how we find the common difference? Common difference is denoted by D, which is equals to A2 minus A1, which is equals to, what's your A2? A2 is 1 minus, what is the A1? 3, which is equals to minus 2. So minus 2 is your common difference in this particular question. Now let us have a look at the second question. Minus 5, minus 1, 3, 7. Now the first term in this particular series is minus 5. So this will be your A1, which is your first term. Now to find the common difference, we know that D is equals to second term minus first term. What is your A2? A2 is minus 1 minus, what is your A1? So here A1 is 5 minus 5. Now you have to take care of signs here, okay? So minus minus will become plus, which is equals to minus 1 plus 5, which is equals to 4. So 4 is your common difference. So now let us start with the third question. Here it becomes a little bit tricky because here you have fraction, and the fourth question you have decimals here. So first let us look what is the first term. The first term of this particular series is known as the first term. So you have A1 as 1 by 3. Now we know how to find the common difference. Common difference is D, which is equals to A2 minus A1. What is your A2? A2 is 5 by 3 minus 1 by 3, which is equals to 4 by 3. So your common difference is 4 by 3. First term 1 by 3 and common difference is 4 by 3. You can actually verify this by subtracting the next corresponding terms. Now let us look at the fourth. First term 0.6, which is your A1, since it is the first term in the series. How do you find the common difference? D is equals to second term minus first term, which is the previous term, next term minus the previous term, which is equals to, what is the A2? 1.7 minus 0.6, which is equals to 1.1. So this is your common difference. So now we would be starting with the last question of this particular exercise, which is the question 4. Now in this particular question, we need to find whether the given series is an AP, and if it is an AP, we need to find the next 3 terms of that particular AP. So we won't be doing all the questions because there are many questions given in the book, and some of them are of the similar nature. So we'll take all type of different questions. So let us have a look at the first question. 2, 4, 8, 16. Now how do you find if it is an AP or not? See, for a series to be an AP, it is important that they have a common difference. That is, the difference between the terms should be common. So we'll find the common difference between two corresponding terms, and then we'll compare it if it is same or not. First we'll find the common difference between A2 minus A1, which is equals to 4 minus 2, which is equals to 2. Now let us find the difference. A3 minus A2, which is equals to 8 minus 4, which is equals to 4. So here you see that the common difference between different pairs of corresponding terms is not equal. Therefore this is not an AP. Since it is not an AP, you don't need to find the next terms. Now let us look at the second question. A2 minus A1 would be 5 by 2 minus 2, which is equals to 1 by 2. Okay. Now A3 minus A2 would be equal to 3 minus 5 by 2, which is equals to 1 by 2. So here we see that the difference between the terms is same. Let us find the next difference as well, which is A4 minus A3, which is equals to 7 by 2 minus 3. Here also the common difference is 1 by 2. So we find that the common difference between all the corresponding terms is same. So this is an AP. So now how we will calculate the next 4 terms? Now let us see. We know that D is equals to 1 by 2, and we will now look at the current term, which is A is equals to 7 by 2. So the next 3 terms would be A plus B, which is equals to 7 by 2 plus 1 by 2, which is equals to 4. The next term would be, since this is the current term, 4 plus d, which is equals to 4 plus half, which is equals to 9 by 2. Next, this is the current term. So 9 by 2 plus d, which is equals to 9 by 2 plus 1 by 2, which is equals to 10 by 2, which will be simplified as 5. So the next three terms that you have are 4, 9 by 2 and 5. Now this particular question is a different question, so let us have a look at this. First let us find whether it is an AP or not. So to find the AP, we find A2 minus A1 should be equal to A3 minus A2. Since you would have understood this by now, that the difference between these two should be equal to the difference between these two, which should be equal to the difference between these two. Okay, so first let us find A2 minus A1, which is equals to 3 plus root 2 minus 3, which is equals to root 2. A3 minus A2 is equals to 3 plus root 2 3 plus 2 root 2 minus 3 plus root 2, which is equals to, you again get root 2. What is A4 minus A3? We have 3 plus 3 root 2 minus 3 plus 2 root 2, which is again equals to root 2. So we find that the common difference between all the corresponding terms are same. So this is an AP. Now how we will find the next four terms? See, it is very simple. This is the current term now. So we will consider A. 3 plus 3 root 2. We'll add the common difference, which is root 2. We get the term, next term as 3 plus 4 root 2. Now this is the current term. So 3 plus 4 root 2 plus d, which is 3 plus 4 root 2 plus root 2, which is equals to 3 plus 5 root 2. Similarly, 3 plus 5 root 2 plus d, which is 3 plus 5 root 2 plus root 2, which is equals to 3 plus 6 root 2. So these are the next three terms that we have easily found out. Now let us try the sixth question. First we need to find whether it is an AP or not. So you can clearly see that this will not be an AP, okay, but again we will check the common difference, which is A2 minus A1 would be equal to 0.22 minus 0.20, which is equals to 0.02. Now A3 minus A2 would be equals to 0.222 minus 0.220, which is equals to 0.002. So as you can see, this particular common difference and this particular common difference is not same. Therefore, this is not an AP. So you don't need to find the next terms. Now let us have a look at the seventh question. Now let us try to find whether it is an AP or not. So what is A2 minus A1 is equals to minus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2, which is equals to 0. A3 minus A2 would be equal to minus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2, which is equals to 0. A4 minus A3 would be equal to minus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 is equals to 0. So you can see that the common difference between all the corresponding terms is 0. Therefore this is an AP and we need to find the next terms. So common difference D, we know it is 0. So current term would be half minus half plus D, which is equals to minus half plus 0, which is equals to minus half. The next term, minus half plus 0 is equals to minus half. Minus half plus 0 is again half. So the next three terms will also be similar to the last four terms. Therefore this AP would continue till minus 1 by 5 no matter whatever term you choose. Now let us have a look at the 12th question. Now this particular question, if you just see without careful analyzation, or if you don't see this question properly, you would see that this is not an AP, and many of you might write it that this particular series is not an AP. But look carefully, we can write root 8 as 2 root 2 root 18 as 3 root 2 and root 32 as 4 root 2. So this particular AP will become root 2, 2 root 2, 3 root 2 and 4 root 2 and so on. So let us find the common difference now. So B is equals to A2 minus A1, which is equals to 2 root 2 minus root 2 is equals to root 2. B is also equals to A3 minus A2, which is equals to 3 root 2 minus 2 root 2, which is equals to root 2. B is also equals to A4 minus A3, which is equals to 4 root 2 minus 3 root 2, which is equals to root 2. So you can see that the common difference between the corresponding terms of the particular series are same. Therefore, this is an AP. So now we have to find the next three terms. How we would find the next three terms? Let's have a look at that. Since you have the next term as 4 root 2, the common difference is B is equals to root 2. So you will do as 4 root 2 plus D, which is equals to 4 root 2 plus root 2 is equals to 5 root 2. 5 root 2 plus D is equals to 6 root 2, and the next term, first term, second term, then you have the third term, 6 root 2 plus D is equals to 7 root 2. So these are the next three terms that you would need to see. So with this, we wind up this particular exercise here and wind up this video here. For the next exercises, we would be having a better way of studying, and we would be coming soon with another video. So all the suggestions, all the feedbacks are most welcome. Looking forward to your comments in the comment section. So subscribe our channel and stay tuned for the next chapter.